Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you are all having a great drama-free day. Well, can't say the same about OP, whose father put his new wife's kids as a priority and only wants one thing from OP. Yep, you guessed it right, money. Looking at OP's situation, I can say that some people definitely don't deserve a second chance in their life. Listen to the end of the story to hear my insights on the situation. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 24 female, was only 12 when my parents, 50 male and 49 female, divorced. As any child, I was heartbroken, and I didn't take their divorce too well. Soon after their divorce, my dad remarried this woman who I will call S, 50 female. She had 6 kids from her previous marriage, 29 female, 29 male, 27 female, 25 female, 25 female, and 24 male. After their marriage, they all moved into my dad's house, and from day one, everything was chaotic. For example, I had to share all my stuff with my step-siblings, including the new set of underwear my mother bought for me. At the age of 15, I was done living with my father, so I started living with my mom and only visited my dad a few days a month. Living with my mom was the best decision I had ever took, considering she was never in a relationship and actually spent time with me and herself. Fast forward this year, my dad calls me saying he wants to spend Christmas with me. I cut him off once I turned 18, and I actually agreed. I met him last Tuesday, and he laid out to me how much he is financially struggling, considering now he has 3+ kids, 6 female, 5 male, 2 male, and he can't do anything for him and our family. He then asked if I would help him out by buying him a few things for them for Christmas, and the stuff he asked me to buy were quite a lot of money, around $1,000. So I refused, telling him that I am simply not obligated to. He called me a B, and his wife, who was apparently listening to our convo, came up to me and told me how much she sacrificed for me, and crap, so I just left. Now my step-siblings are berating me through texts and calls. I think OP's dad and his wife sound horrible. They called OP up to use OP for money. I think OP should block every single person who is hounding her. Seriously. Looks like OP's father is not actually interested in OP as a person, but rather as an ATM. That makes him a very big a-hole. Let's see if the community agrees with me. Red Kathy says, not the a-hole. He invited you for Christmas and then lands you with all the shopping lists for all the stuff he needs? That is a ratty thing to do. Spend it with your mom. I can see the reasons you once cut him off are still there to some degree. Suleode says, not the a-hole. It's not your responsibility to buy gifts for your father's children. It's his and his wife's duty to do that. And if they can't afford very much, to stretch their money as best they can. It also sucks that he, it sounds like, invited you over as if he wanted to visit with you and have a nice chat, but then started pressing you for money. And why don't your 6 step-siblings pay for the younger kids' gifts? There are so many of them. Why can't they put in a bit of money each rather than make everything your responsibility? It's all nonsense. You're definitely not the a-hole. Forsaken Revenue 628 says, not the a-hole. What the duck? 10 kids. And then they expect you to help? How's that your fault that he can't provide? Seems like they didn't sacrifice jack crap for you. Can't believe that you had to share your freaking underwear. They are the a-holes. Why aren't your older siblings helping? After all, seems like they are part of his real family, not you. Sorry your dad is such an a-hole. My husband and I are drifters, or roadies. We travel everywhere and work from the comfort of our RV. Last month, my sister-in-law called us and basically begged us for help. Her home is starting to fall apart, and she doesn't have the money for repairs. We have absolutely no issues whatsoever helping my sister-in-law, both financial and physical labor-wise. She's a good woman and would do the same for us. She is married, but her husband is utterly useless. He has worked maybe 4 months total out of the 12 years they've been married, and still treats her like crap. Battered wife syndrome to the fullest. We feel bad for her, but she's a much larger woman with severe insecurities and feels no one else will ever love her, so she sticks by him. It's sad. So my husband and I parked our RV outside her home, and we've been making the repairs to her house for her. As payment, she makes us meals every day and night, and we can shower and run our electric from her house so we don't waste gas or water. She's always expressing her gratitude. Now, we have to fix her foundation, her roof, and some of her walls, water damage. We have all the resources, knowledge, licenses to do so, but at least 3 times a day, her husband is yelling at us. Stop opening that door so much. Get your butt out the shower. You're taking too long. You ain't having the leftovers. Those are mine. This is my house. Quit turning that light on. It's literally constant. I swear, he only gets off his butt to yell at us for something, and sister-in-law always has our back, but it just starts arguments between them. Well, yesterday I had enough. My sister-in-law was on a phone interview, and he went into the room she was in and started yelling at her for us blocking his access to his front door. He never leaves, so I don't know what the issue was. She gets off the phone and just starts crying and goes upstairs. I lost it a bit and said, when you get off your lazy ducking butt and actually contribute to literally anything in life is when you can start bossing me around. Until then, sit your butt on that ducking couch and leave me and sister-in-law alone. He started in with the whole, this is my house BS. So I retorted with, the duck it is. It's your daughter's house. Neither you or your wife's name is on this property. The house was given to their child when father-in-law passed. The kid is 16. He actually left, and my sister-in-law is now upset. In my opinion, OP is definitely not in the wrong here. Brother-in-law needed a reality check. Also, he treats OP's sister-in-law this way because she lets him treat her like that. He knows she has no intention of ever leaving him. He's taking advantage of her. I think OP needs to keep checking on her and make sure he doesn't try to isolate her and shut OP out for seeing through and calling out his BS. Let's see what the community says. Beneficial Delay 8158 says, not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law seems like a saint who deserves so much better than to deal with this. Sure, was it below the belt? Yes. But was it undeserved? Absolutely not. Not the a-hole. Pooh CPU says, sister-in-law is a grown woman who has every ability to leave her deadbeat, dead weight, zero positive qualities, and zero contributions leech significant other. She chooses to stay with him due to her own insecurities and feeling like she couldn't find anyone else. Being alone is an option. She is the a-hole to herself as long as she stays with that man, and she is also exposing her loved ones and children to him until she takes action against him. Prestigious Stable 369 says, not the a-hole. Probably feels weird to say that since you are in his home, but it sounds like he contributes nothing positive and can't appreciate what is essentially free work being done to the house. You are licensed, no less. Losers are losers. Him leaving the house is not a loss. It's too bad you can't keep him away. I, 47 female, have always had a very strained relationship with my brother, 51 male. He's had a very bad accident when he was 17 and spent 3 months in a coma. Ever since, he's been the child my parents swooned over, and they make excuses for everything he does. I've been in therapy because of this for over a decade, as I resented him for my parents forgetting about me when I was younger, even though I love my parents to death. My nephew, 31 male, has basically been raised by my parents as well. His mom passed away during childbirth, and my brother lived with our parents till about 4 years ago when he moved in with his girlfriend. Because my brother is handicapped and doesn't have big motor skills, a lot of the childcare was taken care of by my parents over the years, till my nephew moved out of state 5 years ago for his job. A couple of weeks ago, my parents were meeting with their lawyer to set up their will, as they're both no longer in the best of health and want to make sure we're taken care of. The only big thing they have is their house and car. They were talking about that they want to split the inheritance 3 ways, and I got confused and asked them why 3 ways, considering it's only me and my brother. They said they wanted my nephew in there as well, as they basically raised him since birth and consider him largely as their child too. I told them that's not fair, as I have 2 kids as well, and if my nephew was in the will, they should be as well. My brother said that what they're doing with their money is their business, and I should stay out of it, but I disagreed. Eventually, my parents agreed and didn't give my nephew his share. My brother called it a giant jerk move and called me petty to punish my nephew for the resentment I have towards him. We broke out into a fight that my parents had to unfortunately break up. My nephew called me a couple of days ago to check in on my youngest, as he's her godfather. He had already heard what happened and just said that it was a bit of a Karen move to do, but he's unbothered by it, as it's none of his business. But my brother is still very upset with me, and my parents are rather cold to me as well. Am I the a-hole here? Edit. I did not expect this to blow up as it did. Thank you everyone for sometimes harsh but honest comments. With this, I just want to clarify some things. My nephew is godfather of my youngest. She is 7. My eldest is 10. He is also the only one in the family around his age. All my cousins are around my age, and then there are all the small kids. He and I have a good relationship. He's always been a very hard worker and studied hard to be where he is now, and I can't be more proud of him. what he's been able to accomplish with the limited resources he has. My parents absolutely adore my kids as well, and babysit often when me and my husband need help or are busy with work. My parents are in a care home and want none of us to take care of them. They made sure that no one had to, and even when my nephew was living with them, he did errands for them like running to shops, groceries, making appointments for them when need be. Just because he moved out of state, he cannot do that anymore. We also did it together, as many mentioned that my brother wasn't able to do this. It is true that they see my nephew more as a son than a grandson. Well, I think OP is an a-hole here. It's hard to be the forgotten child, and I get that. However, OP's nephew has spent the majority of his life with OP's parents. They are his parents as well. But OP manipulated his parents, forcing them to exclude him, which is definitely an a-hole move in my opinion. Let's see what the community's opinion on the matter is. Pete Friend 86 says, "Not the a-hole. OP's parents brought OP into the conversation about distribution and gave OP the opinion that a will that included the nephew should also include OP's children." Tracy Olivia 14 says, "Your parents are cold to you for being factual? They have 3 grandkids, so if they want to give to their grandkid, they should also give it to the other 2. Fair is fair. Do they even know or address the fact that they caused you being in therapy because of them? Like, sure, your brother needed more support, but they ignored you. In the end, it is their money, but they should be fair. In my country, it doesn't even matter what is written in the will. You get a percentage of the inheritance." Strategic Ambiguity says, 100% you're the a-hole. Your nephew has a disabled father and a dead mother, and you're crying about some money not being fair to you? That is just horrible. You're 47. It's way past time to grow up. My mother was a talented seamstress and worked in fashion for a long time. When she married my father, her employer designed and created a bespoke dress for my mother as a wedding gift. The dress is stunning. I know it sounds hyperbolic, but it's honestly a work of art. Hand-embroidered, hand-beaded, the whole 9 yards. Before she passed, my mother split up several of her possessions based on our personalities and was explicit about who got what in her will. I was gifted the dress, and my sister received jewelry, including pieces that my mother wore on her wedding day. My sister is engaged, and she recently asked me to gift my mother's dress to her so she could wear it on her wedding day. I told her no for various reasons. 1, the dress was gifted to me specifically, and it's one of the last few meaningful possessions of my mother's that I have. 2, my sister is probably 3 to 4 sizes larger than my mother. Nothing against her, she's healthy and beautiful, but wearing the dress would require her to let the dress out at the seams, requiring much of the embroidery and beading to be destroyed and redone. I do not have faith that the dress can be properly restored and maintained. 3, my sister implied that as a gift, it would then become hers. I asked if that meant she'd give me some of my mother's jewelry in return, and she said no, which rubbed me the wrong way. By the way, I don't actually want to trade. The dress has too much sentimental value to me. I just wanted to see where my sister's heart was at, and it felt selfish to me. She's since started a campaign about me to family. She's been crying to my dad and writing nasty things about how selfish I am. She's even brought up the fact that I'm a widow, likely to never remarry, and that I'd never have any use for the dress. I feel justified in what I did, but based on what I've been hearing from my family, I feel like I'm really ruining her wedding, and it's caused a strain between me and my father. I wonder if I'm being needlessly stubborn. Well, I think if OP gives her the dress, she can say goodbye to it. She will pass it down to her children, grandchildren, and so on, and OP will lose a treasured family heirloom. OP's mother specifically wanted OP to have the dress, not the daughter who gets married first, but OP. I think OP should honor her wishes. OP shouldn't give up because of family pressuring her, and should hold her ground firmly. Fancy Pants Dancer says, not the a-hole. Firstly, a dress like that sounds so delicate, and it wouldn't be worth it to rework it. Your sister won't essentially trade you something else, and she assumes she'd get the dress, just not borrow. Lastly, your sister is a major a-hole for bringing up that you're a widow. I would go low contact with your sister, if not no contact. The widow comment sealed that for me. You're not ruining her wedding. Her dramatic antics and heartless behaviors are. Lots of Cats Phi says, not the a-hole. Your mom wanted you to have it. That's special, and you should treasure that. I would be vulnerable in how you communicate about this with your family. It sounds like your sister is being nasty. Just don't do the same. Just tell everyone that the dress is a special memory for you, and your mom has specific wishes for it, which you plan to honor. Rare Beauty Etsy says, not the a-hole, and if she's going to guilt trip you, You can do it to her by telling her that your mother would be horrified that she was even asking. And the fact that she brought up that you're a widow, wow. That's one of the crappier things I've heard today, and I've been listening to U.S. Supreme Court news all day. My wife has 3 kids, 2 sons, 20 male and 19 male, and a daughter, 16 female, from her previous marriage. Their father was on D, but is now clean. He doesn't have custody of S, but does visit when he can. My stepsons and I aren't close, but they've been respectful to me at least. My stepdaughter, who I'll call S, has not. She genuinely doesn't like me. She refuses to talk to me. She doesn't want me attending her shows. She doesn't accept any gift I've given her, usually giving them away or tossing it in the trash. She doesn't listen to me if I'm the one enforcing rules when she is grounded. It has been her mom who puts her foot down. Her birthday was last week. She had testing that day. My wife wanted her birthday to be extra special because she was turning 16 and had good grades. S wanted to go to an expensive restaurant with her family. I was not allowed to come, according to her, but she wanted me to give her mom the money to pay for it. I told her I would not pay. She got upset and told me it was the least I could do and how she asks for so little. But I stood my ground. Her mom took her to a less expensive restaurant. S is upset with me. Her granddad is also upset with me, telling me I should have paid and that it was her 16th birthday that I ruined. My wife is on my side and says there's no winning with her. I know how important becoming 16 is, and I feel bad for not getting her a gift at all. So, am I the a-hole? The audacity to ask OP to pay, but not come to her expensive birthday dinner is astounding. I don't think OP is an a-hole for not getting her another gift. Why would OP give her a physical gift anyway, knowing that she would likely just throw it away? Let's see what the community has to say. Shadow Fox says, not the a-hole. If Grandpa wanted her to have an expensive meal, he could have paid for it. You shouldn't be paying for meals for entitled teens. She needs an attitude adjustment. You can not like someone and still be polite. Lamelreen says, not the a-hole. She may be only 16, but that's not too young to learn basic respect. She can't treat you like dirt and expect you to bend over backwards and make her birthday special. Sounds like she's mad at the world and is taking it out on you. Hope she grows up a bit and sees reason. Alter Ego 624 says, not the a-hole. She wants to disrespect you and openly exclude you from her life while simultaneously expecting you to fund her birthday? She sounds insufferable.